Elijah Moore, I saw some numbers on him during the offseason about how dominant he was and how little they got out of the rest of the receiver core. You know, he had X number of catches. Everybody else had this. He had this many yards. Everybody else had this, touchdowns, etc. And I thought, well, they're not going to be able to survive going ahead in that fashion this season. And with Lane Kiffin calling the plays, I'm sure he'll look for some other options. And there's certainly other guys. Kenny Yeboah in particular, he's made some monster plays this year. He's got 6 touchdowns. People found out about him against Alabama, but Elijah Moore still has 86 catches. And the second guy is Yeboah with 27. So he is still dominating the passing game.
Absolutely. Well, and you know, that's one of the things that we love about Lane Kiffin is that, you know, he told us early on in the season, he said, look, our best players are going to get the football. He said, we're going to figure out how to do it. He said, that's my job. Let me figure that out. But we're going to get the ball in our best players' hands. And you know, that's a lot of that with a player like Elijah Moore, who is just clearly so dominant and who was targeted so much. A lot of teams who have players like that, they're tempted to use that more to draw more defenders towards him, away from other people, use him to get other people open. That's how a lot of receivers like him are used. However, you know, obviously Lane Kiffin does that here and there. But when it comes down to it, Elijah Moore is just better than 99% of the guys that he's up against. He finds ways to get open. Lane Kiffin's got a very good offense where it's a lot of fast motions. It's people crossing and cutting, and it creates chaos. And somebody like Elijah Moore, he's small. He can get lost in the flow of things. He's faster than most of the people on the field. He's got great hands. He runs great routes. When you add all that together, that guy deserves to touch the ball 85 times in a season. Now, you know, it's crazy that he's already broken A.J. Brown's single season reception record, and he did it in 9 games, which is another mind-blowing thing. But, you know, when it comes down to it, people say, hey, you need to spread the ball around more. You can't be one-dimensional with Elijah Moore. To those people, I would say, stop Elijah Moore, then we'll talk. Nobody's done it yet, so there's no reason to give it to anybody else.
Yeah, as long as somebody's catching the ball and they're gaining first downs and then scoring points, I don't think they keep that on the scoreboard that you didn't spread it out. Same guy scored 4 touchdowns. They still count. Now, it doesn't seem like it should work that way.
But
if it does, it does.
Exactly. And so, you know, it's been a great flow this season. You know, this team that we have that Matt Luke left to. It's built for speed like this. Granted, there's a few players that don't fit into the scheme 100%, and I think that because of that, we expect to see a couple of receivers transfer out. We're not 100% sure yet. We expect, not just receivers. We expect to see a handful of skill players maybe open up, play around with the idea of the portal, and kind of see what happens. But you know, when it comes down to it, we love the offense that he's given us right now, and we think that. We think that he's going to be able to carry. I mean, because it speaks for itself. You can show a recruit this offense. You can show the tape, and you can just say, you make your own judgment. You tell me if this is something you want to be a part of. And the thing is, for a lot of people, this is exactly what you want. You want a high fly. If you're a skill player in high school right now, you want a high flying offense. You want the ball as many times as you can get it. I mean, you want numbers. You want to try to go to the next level. And Ole Miss is a great place to do it. They're starting to show that, and that's something, you know, that. We're in a much better position than we were last year in that scenario. Ole Miss was not an attractive destination a couple of years ago. Lane Kiffin has completely flipped the script in not even a full calendar year.
For years, Lane Kiffin has displayed his touchdown celebration that goes on even before, you know, the touchdowns actually scored. You know, when he sees the play develop and then, there it goes. The ball's in the air. He's already celebrating. So he did that a few weeks ago against South Carolina. And fill in the blanks for me, because I was watching part of that game, but I missed his celebration. And then I heard so much about it, but he threw something. It hit fill in the blanks for me.
So it was a long Elijah Moore touchdown. Elijah Moore pretty much ran a seam right up the middle. The safety decided that he wanted to cover someone else for whatever reason, and
he didn't look at the stats. Apparently,
right. He clearly had no idea.
That's the guy you cover.
That's the one that you cover, especially when he's in the slot. When he's outside, he's not quite as dangerous because he doesn't have as much room. When he's in the middle of the field, you got to put at least one guy on him, if not 2. So yeah, it was a simple route up the middle, and they left him all alone. He was all by himself, no one within probably 20 yards of him in any direction. And it was one of those plays where, you know, he talks about it. Kiffin says, if I see it and I know it's going to be a touchdown, there's a lot of times ball hadn't even been snapped and he's already doing this. He already knows. And so it was one of those plays right there where Corral drops back. He sees him all by himself. It's actually funny. Corral said that those are the hardest throws to make because when you've got a guy that wide open, he's like, you can't miss him. You just can't miss him. So yeah, hit him for a long bomb. Elijah Moore took it all the way to the house. And Kiffin went flying down the sideline and had the clipboard, chucked the thing up in the air. It actually flew into the stands. They had an assistant coach that had to go into the stands and fish out his clipboard with, I mean, I'm assuming it's got the play sheets and everything on it, and he just chucked it in the stands.
That's what it was. Yes, the clipboard.
Yep. I tell you, like it's things like that about Lane Kiffin that we just love. I mean, you know, you don't have to market yourself when your coach is going to do it for you. You don't need to do anything. You just let Lane Kiffin coach the game. He'll take care of everything else. He's a one-man wrecking crew.
And that's a pretty good heave from the sideline too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I don't that thing's aerodynamic. He must have caught the wind right because I mean that's a good 20 or probably 20 yards from the edge of the sideline all the way to the back wall there. I mean, and it went up a good 10 or 15 rows. It wasn't like it just cleared it. He sent that thing flying.